Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Jacob, I'm ohheplays, and today we're going to be touring Camp Ladonia. So if you're not familiar, Camp Ladonia here is my forever island. I've had this island since I first started playing the game in 2020. It's gone through many iterations. It started out as a cottagecore island, and then it became a horror-themed island before taking a swift left turn and becoming an abandoned Kidcore summer camp island. And now this version of the island is a functioning, up and running summer camp, Kidcore summer camp. But yeah, this is my forever island. I honestly, when I finished it before, I didn't really ever think I was going to change it. I've thought about it a few times over the years, but it always felt a little daunting. It felt like I had started playing mostly on my modded Switch, and so playing completely vanilla seemed kind of daunting. Seemed like a big undertaking, and I didn't know what I would change. But then recently, after working on my island Pluto, that was the first island I had done in a while that was just like fully Kidcore, fully like, came from my brain. It wasn't based on something else or inspired by some other place. I kind of was missing my old island, Ladonia, and was missing doing like Kidcore, fully original, like Kidcore type islands. And so I thought, you know what? I'm a better designer now. I'm a better builder. I think it's time. And so yeah, so I decided to redo it, and that's what you're looking at now. So I'm gonna put the dream address here on the bottom of the screen. If you'd like to travel along with me while I'm touring, please do. If you wanna look it up later, go ahead. I've got my map as well that I drew for this island. It's my favorite map I've drawn so far, if I do say so myself. I like it a lot. I was proud of it. So yeah, let's see. Almost every code that you'll see I made for this island, with a few exceptions. You can see those in my codes I use highlight over on Instagram if you're curious about any of the codes that you see today. But yeah, and of course, when you dream, you can check out my codes at the kiosk for yourself. I'll put my creator code for this island down below as well, and you can check them out there. But yeah, I'm gonna leave some gifts, some like props over to the left of, or maybe to the front. We'll see. It'll be on the screen. Of resident services when I actually set up the dream. I haven't updated it at the time of filming. So there will be gifts for you to grab before you tour. But yeah, let's see. Let's just get into it. I'm gonna start the tour over by my house. We're just at the entrance over here by the airport now so that you could see it, but I'm gonna start the tour over by my house. So I'll see you there in just a second. Okay, so here we are over at my house. As I was saying earlier, the previous version of this island of Ladonia was an abandoned Kidcore summer camp. The idea at the time was that it used to be a functioning summer camp back in the day, but it had since closed, shut down, and become overgrown with weeds and plants and wildlife. And so the idea then was that all of the villagers were just creatures that lived in the forest that took over the cabins as time went on, and it had kind of been, like I said, overgrown, taken over, abandoned. And this version is now a functioning summer camp. So in my mind, the lore is that Nook Inc. came and acquired this property and did some renovations, and they've reopened the island as a functioning summer camp once again. So now it's no longer set in the fall, it's set in the summer again, and the design is a lot more, set up as a functioning, slightly clean summer camp that you could send your kids to. So if you want to see the old version of Ladonia, I did just do a tour of it over on my YouTube, so you can go check that out. There's also other people's tours of the island over the years, so you can check those out as well. But yeah, we're going to be looking at the new Ladonia today, so let's just get into it. So down here, we've got the camper drop-off area in this little parking lot. I tried to make it look like, People have just arrived. They're unpacking their cars, getting their stuff out. Got this little sleeping bag, like a suitcase, you know, whatnot. And yeah, everyone's arriving, unpacking. This area, this build was actually inspired by my friend Airy Crossing over on Blue Sky. She did a little parking lot build on an island that she was working on that was like national park themed. And I really liked that build, and it made a lot of sense here on this island as well. So I decided to do my own little spin on it, and this is it. So yeah. So then if you come up here, we've got right in front of my house, we've got this little check-in area. So you've got the clipboards, you know, you come over, you've got all your bags, you're gonna find your name, check in, find out what cabin you're gonna be living in for the summer, and yeah, start your summer off at summer camp. So yeah, so we're gonna come back to the house in a minute, but let's go this way. So over here, I've got my Nooks. Nooks, honestly, it was kind of hard to like hide. I don't know, it doesn't like super fit the cabin vibe 100%. So I tried to just kind of hide it behind these trees and this storefront here. But it's there, what can you do about it? And then I put this little like picnic area, the first of many picnic areas on this island, down here. So we've got a couple different places you could sit and have a meal. This also connects to the parking lot over here, which I thought made sense too. If like, I don't know, like, you know, you go to like a hiking trail and you park, and then, you know, there's like usually a little area for like picnics right by the entrance, and then you go on through the mountain or whatnot, wherever you're going to be hiking. So yeah, just this little area. Yeah, I don't know what to say. But yeah, I like this. I don't know. Like I said, it was like, I wasn't sure how I was going to fit in Nooks, and I was happy with this solution. I think it worked out well. Oh, and I liked using this item. I can't think of what it's called, but I don't use this item very often, and I'm always like, oh, I should use that item. And I was able to finally, so glad that I did. And then if you go around the back side of Nooks, I've got a little Easter egg sort of here to the last version of Camp Ladonia. I used to have the Nook's Cranny back by the back secret beach on the island, and it overlooked the ocean, and it was just a nice little rooftop oasis, and I really liked that build. But I don't know, it didn't necessarily make as much sense here without such a, you know, the same kind of view, but I really liked that build, and I like having a roof on Nook's Cranny. I've done that on a lot of islands, and so it felt like a nice little thing to include as like a little homage to one of my favorite spots on the last version of Ladonia. So then if we keep going this way, well, actually, we'll come back to my house in a minute. Let's go across here. Ooh, actually, I lied. We're gonna go down here. And down here we've got this little like bug fighting area. So I don't know who knows about this game. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this game, Kabuto Park. It's on Steam, and I started playing it at the same time as I was like working on the new version of this island, and I just loved it so much. It's like basically the concept is you are catching bugs and then fighting with them. And you fight other people that are collecting bugs, and the fights happen on this like tambourine. I couldn't think of the word. On top of a tambourine, and you just like, you know, the bugs fight back and forth until one team falls off the tambourine, and then whoever, you know, wins. And it just, the bugs, the like art style was so beautiful. It was so cute. And I really liked a lot of the bugs, so I got inspired to make all of these bug codes. And then once I made the bug codes, I was like, wait, we have these items like that are in the video game in Animal Crossing, so I could just make an area based on that game. So that's what I did. And I thought it made sense as like an activity that like the campers were doing in their spare time, you know, making these bugs they find around the island fight. So I thought it was a cute little idea, and like I said, just a nice little homage to this game that I really enjoyed. So you should check it out if you are not familiar. And then down here, this is pretty much the only thing I guess really I left on the beaches. In the last version of this island, the beaches were pretty full and decorated, which I don't do as much anymore. I like to keep them a little more open and natural. But I kept this little volleyball field situation going on. So yeah, I don't know. You can come down here and play volleyball. But let's continue on. Okay, now back where I was saying, we're gonna go this way across the resident services. Down here, like I said, I'll drop some gifts here. And this was the entrance where we started the video, but don't worry about that. We're gonna go this way. Over here on the right side of the island, we've got a few things going on. Let's go down here first. We've got this little soccer field. I had a tiny little soccer field on the old version of Ladonia that I really liked, and so I wanted to include that still in some way, and so it came over here. I have these little seats here. You can sit and watch your friends play, read a comic book, eat some goldfish. And then if you come around, we've got another little picnic area. This picnic area was built mainly initially to make a graphic for my collaboration I did with Crystal on these like ant codes. But then I liked it so much and it made sense that I just left it in the final version of the island. So you can all come here and try to have your lunch without the ants taking it away from you, but there's a lot of them, so you might not have too much luck with that. And then over here, we've got this little like play area with my dirt codes, this hopscotch code that I really like, and all these little doodles. Some of my favorite codes I've made, honestly. I think they're so cute. I love the snail, I love the star, and I just love the like idea of like the kids, like campers, you know, like playing in the dirt, drawing little things like you did when you were a kid. Yeah. What are you up to, Henry? That means it's going to be a great giorno. Thank you. He's so smart. He's so smart. But we're going to go back around. Let's see. Up here, where we came from. We'll work backwards. Let's go this way. So this is where all of the girl cabins are, all of the girls on my island. I did divide the cabins by gender. Oh, I never showed my map. Oh my gosh. Let's take a look at the map really quick. So this is the map. Oh my gosh. I showed the one I drew earlier, but I didn't pull up the map. So this is the map of Ladonia. We've got the girls' cabins here in the bottom right. We've got the boys' cabins kind of over to the left that we'll visit later. And then we've got a few in the back that we'll get to. You can see the mountain in the back of the map as well. We've got the museum over there hidden behind the mountain because it doesn't really fit the theme. That was something I also kept from the last version of this island. But yeah, let's look at the residents. We've got me, we've got Peck, Pippi, Scoot, Eric, Teddy, Pudge, Freckles, Dina, Henry, and Hazel. And here's the lore. Most of them are campers, but there's a little bit of lore. So Teddy used to be a camper and now he's a camp counselor. And Pudge is his younger brother who is here at summer camp for the first time. And so Teddy's kind of looking out for Pudge, you know, a little extra while he's here, and he's a little nervous about camp. He's the youngest here at the camp this summer. And then Hazel is Miss Hazel. She's our arts and crafts coordinator, our teacher. So her cabin is the arts and crafts cabin, which we'll see later. Yeah, other than that, they're all just campers, but there is a little bit of lore with the villagers here. So yeah, that's the map. Can't believe I didn't show that earlier, but you know, that's how it is on this channel. We mess up pretty often. So let's get back to it. So as I was saying, I did divide the cabins by gender, which, you know, not very woke of me. You know, gender is not binary, but unfortunately in Animal Crossing it is. And it just made sense too with like a kid's summer camp. The cabins are like typically divided by gender, so it made sense to me as a way to spread them out. And so, hey, I went with it, but whatever. Just rambling. But yeah, we've got, let's see, we've got Dina here. They each have this little like flag. This was inspired by Summer Camp Island. On that show, all of the cabins, they have like a specific flag on the roof that like represents each person. And when I did my Island, New Jersey, that was based off the show, I made little flags like that. And so I wanted to do that here as well to represent them. So all of their flags kind of have to do with something with their personality. And so I included them here. I did decorate all of the villager houses. I don't think I'm gonna go in most of them here today, but I posted them on Instagram. I'll put a few on the screen here so you can see, kind of get an idea. They're all basically the same, just with some variation based on the villager. But yeah, they're all on my other socials, so you can go check them out there. Then we've got no, this is not Freckles. Then we've got Pippi. This is Pippi's house. And then we have Freckles here on the end. And Freckles is home. But yeah, there's some little decorations here. Leads out to the beach. Very simple, not much going on over there. And then let's go back this way. Actually, let's go behind Freckles' house. So behind Freckles' house, I've got this little cardboard fort that I did. It's kind of small, pretty simple, but I like it. It's cute. I don't know. I don't have too much to say. Oh my gosh, you can see Pippi back there fishing. I wonder if she'll catch anything. Yeah, a little sneak peek of the lake. So then back here, we have the soccer field down here, but if you come through this little clearing in the trees, we've got this over here. We've got this tree house. So I still make tree houses, but I feel like kind of be known for my treehouse builds. My cardboard forts and my tree houses were kind of what really popped off back in the day and what I feel like I was kind of known for in the community. And so I had a lot of tree houses on the original Camp Ladonia, and I still have some here, not quite as many, but they're a little different. They're a little updated. And yeah, this is the first one. So if you come up here, you're also overlooking the lake, which I thought was like a nice little touch, like this like view of the lake, you know, from the treehouse. I don't know. I just really like it. You can see back there in the back, we've got the boathouse, disguising Abel's as a boathouse. Yeah, so we'll get to that later, but this is the treehouse. And yeah, that's this side of the island. So then if we go back across resident services and we head, actually, no, we're gonna go to my house. That's what I said we were gonna do. Let's go to my house first. So this is my house. My house is supposed to be like the rec center for the island, for the summer camp. Oh, I meant to put this away before I filmed. Embarrassing. Pretend you didn't see that. So this is just supposed to be like the welcome center. I've got a front desk here, a little lounging area as well. I don't know, not too much to say about this. And then, hopping from seat to seat. Over here to the left, it's closed right now because they're cleaning it, but we've got some restrooms. Got the restrooms here. Like I said, you can see no one's in here. We're cleaning it. But yeah, pretty simple, fairly realistic. I kept this house pretty realistic. The last time I did this island, the house was pretty like whimsical and playful and wasn't like functional or made sense. So kind of did a complete 180 with it this time. And then over here we've got this is like the rec room. So we've got music playing, we've got, you know, this old TV playing TV or a movie. And then we've got ping pong as well. Yeah, it's just a place you can come relax, cool off a little if it's really hot outside, play some ping pong with friends. Yeah, and just spend the day. So then upstairs, we have pretty much how it was before. If you watched my tour of the last version, I said I wasn't gonna change much. I pretty much just changed the flooring and the wall, and I had to like clean up some codes since I was using new codes. But yeah, this has pretty much stayed the same, and it's just supposed to be like, you know, like a storage room. This is supposed to just be a lot of storage for the camp, a lot of different activities and materials they might need for different things. And it's a little bit of a mess. It hasn't really been cleaned out in a while, so yeah, that's that. Oh, I'm in the camera mode. I was like, why can't I go down the stairs? And then the basement is decorated as well, but we don't need to go down there. We'll save that for you to wonder about. Check that out on your own. Okay, so then now if we go this way, over to the right here, we've got another picnic area. I think this is our third, not our last. We've got this little picnic area and a little fishing spot here by the lake again. You can see the waterfall there in the background. And yeah, not too much to say about this, just another little picnic area. Over here, we've got this little area with the bug sign. I was inspired by those like boards you'd see at the beginning of a trail about like the wildlife or like the, you know, the greenery in the area, you know, whatnot, like trail information, local fauna, etc. So I made this little bug sign since I had all my like bug codes. And yeah, I really like that as well. But then over here to the left now, we've got the boys' cabins. So here we've got Henry. This is, okay, bad Kidcore creator. This was the first time I ever used the froggy chair. Can you believe? And I used it twice on this island, actually. I also put it inside Scoot's house. So I used the froggy chair not once, but twice. And I never used it before. It just never quite felt right for me in the past, but it felt fitting here, and I liked the green. It all worked. It all worked. Then down here, we've got, oh gosh, whose house is this? This is Peck's house. So he's kind of more sportsy. Sportsy, is that a word? Sporty. You can tell I'm not sporty. So he's got his bike and little basketball, skateboard. Yeah, whatever. And then over here we've got this is Pudge's house. I was telling you earlier a little bit about him. So he's in his cabin. You can see, I told you he's nervous. He doesn't really want to be seeing everybody. So he's kind of hiding out in there right now, I guess. And then finally here on the end, we've got Eric. Eric was the first villager that I ever got on like a villager hunt. Like, you know, you have the villagers that fill in at the beginning, and then, you know, whatever, you have to like fill certain types or whatever. But this was the first time when I first started playing back in 2020, when I finally was gonna get my own villagers that I wanted and I was like seeking out. This was the first, Eric was the first one I chose to invite to my island, and I fell in love with him, and he's literally been here ever since. He's never allowed to move. I love him so much. So that's his house. He's stuck here forever. And then over here, we've got the campfire. So this is just kind of supposed to be like the main like gathering area for the camp. Ooh. it's easier to go around the other side, but I'm trying to get a specific view. Okay. For the camp, this is like, I imagine, you know, they meet here maybe every morning for morning announcements. You know, you meet here at night to end the day, sing some camp songs, tell some camp stories, whatnot. Just kind of a central meeting point, classic summer camp location. You know, fun fact, I actually never went to summer camp like this as a kid. I did go to summer camps, but I went to like day camps and they were show choir camps. So very different vibe. But I always was like curious and really liked the aesthetic of like a like real like summer camp in the woods like this. So I don't know, I've always just been like interested in it, and obviously love like The Parent Trap. Just rewatched that, great movie, everyone should watch again. But yeah, I actually have never been to summer camp like this, so who knows, maybe I'm completely off base, maybe none of this is realistic at all. So now we're finally moving on to the second level of the island. Over here, once you first come up here, you can turn to the left and check out this little area, just this like clearing here in the forest. Got some dropped toys, just kind of, I like the idea of like, you know, there's kind of this open clearing in the forest where kids go and play and whatnot. And we've got the famous Rainbow Fort. So you also maybe have already seen the video I made where I recreated this, but like I was saying, I feel like this especially, this is like really the thing that I'm like known for, or was known for back in the day, was making these cardboard codes and doing the rainbow cardboard fort. So I of course had to keep it on this version of Ladonia, and I redid the codes and I really like these new ones. I think they're so much better. I really just popped off. So not to toot my own horn, but toot toot. This is the Rainbow Fort, and you've got a little pipe back here. If you want to go inside the fort, you can. So we'll do that now. This takes you to the back room of my house that you may have noticed was blocked off before when we were in there. So yeah, this also, again, has not changed very much from the last version, but I just put out a video earlier this week recreating this build and updating it for the new island. So if you want to see, check that out, check out the speed build, you can. If you want to hear more details about that and kind of see what I did, what it took to make all of this. But yeah, this is the inside of the cardboard fort, and I still love this build so much. It brings me a lot of joy. It's just like it's the cardboard fort of your childhood dreams. And I, as a kid, I built a lot of cardboard forts and just like forts in general. And, you know, I was always trying to like make a better one every time I did. And I loved to put them up against the TV and like watch the TV while I was in the fort, or play video games or read a book. And this has all of that. And so it's just like, wow, this is like the fort I wish I could have made as a kid. You know what I mean? And so it just like, it makes me happy. But yeah, that is the cardboard rainbow fort. And then we're still got some more to check out. I'm like scared that this video is gonna be like 15 minutes long. I also am scared that I'm like leaving stuff out. Y'all, making videos is hard, so I hope I'm not leaving anything out, because I really want to do this island justice. Like I said, this is my forever island. It has such a special place in my heart, so I want to be able to show everything off. But yeah, this is Hazel's cabin. So like I was saying earlier, Hazel is the arts and crafts teacher here on the island, so I wanted to make her cabin be an actual like arts and crafts cabin. And I'll put some photos here on the screen so you can see the inside as well. But the outside of this cabin was inspired by this photo I came across when I was doing some research into like summer camps that I found of an arts and crafts cabin. And I really loved the arts and crafts sign, and I knew I like had to make that. And so that's how I ended up with this code here. And I kind of based this cabin roughly off of that inspo picture. So yeah, I was happy with how it turned out. Like I said, I like really like this sign. I was like proud of how that turned out. And yeah, I really like this. This is one of my favorite parts of the island. Yeah, a lot of my favorite parts are here on the second level. The cardboard fort, the arts and crafts cabin, something we're gonna see next. But yeah, I just really love this. And as I still do today as a kid, art class was my favorite class. I love arts and crafts. I love making things. So again, just feels like this whole island is really just like a love letter to my childhood and to all of the things that I loved as a kid and like my inner child. And so it really brings me a lot of joy and it makes me really happy. So yeah. So then if we come over here, we've got the infamous Club Scoot. I feel like I keep saying this, but like it was a different time back in the day. Like these things were popping off. This was something else I feel like I was really known for, was making this Club Scoot, this treehouse in particular. I put Scoot is my favorite villager, hands down, period. He's such a cutie. I love him so much. So I knew I had to do something special for his house. And so I'd been making all these tree houses and I was like, what if I put a house in a tree house? Like, could I do that? And you can. So like, shout out the tree glitch. You just have to make it a little bigger, so that you can obviously keep the house here as well. You have to have some space around, but you can still make it like work in the, the illusion of a treehouse still kind of works, even though it's a little bit bigger. So yeah, had to keep this here on this version of Camp Ladonia as well. And didn't change too much, just did some little updates. And yeah, I think it's really cute. I love this island. I do love this island. I love this build. I love, a lot of the time, he's probably sleeping right now, but a lot of the time Scoot will be like hanging out up there. And I think it's so cute. He'll like walk around and maybe like touch one of the toys. Like I'll wave to him from the bottom or whatnot. Go up and hang out with him. But it's really, I love when he's hanging out there. So hopefully he'll be walking around. If he is out and about when you dream, he's stuck up there in his little yard. So if he is awake when you come and dream, he will be up there. So you'll see what I mean. But I think it's just like super cute. So yeah, so now over here, let's go down this way first. We've got this is our final picnic area. I had to think in my head if that was true, but it is. This is our final little picnic area here on the island. Yeah, I don't know, not too much to say about this. I feel like I used to, if I didn't know what to do with an area, I would just slap a picnic blanket down and call it a day. And it's kind of funny because I feel like I've grown out of that and I don't do that anymore. But then on this island, whenever I had a weird space or a like random like area I needed to fill, I filled it with a picnic area. Just instead of picnic blankets, I put tables. So old habits die hard, I guess. But yeah, I've got different stuff going on. I have different tables. Yeah, not too much to say about this. Come over here and roast some marshmallows. And yeah, eat some snacks, take a little break. Then over here, we've got the camp talent show. So every year, Camp Ladonia has their annual talent show where all of the campers perform a special talent that they might have. And yeah, this was really just a way for me to disguise the tent, the campsite, as a stage, which is funny because obviously the campsite makes sense as a campsite on a summer camp, but I couldn't just do that. That was too easy. So I had to turn it into a stage and make it a little talent show, which actually I used to have. I'd had it as a stage back in the day as well, just not in the dream address. I changed it before I did the dream address. But once upon a time, before Ladonia I fully went the summer camp route, I was just kind of doing kind of whatever. And it was like Kidcore, foresty vibes. It didn't have a as clear of a direction. And I had the Ladonia Arts Festival, and I took these videos with my friend Crystal and my friend Amanda, and we each performed for each other, and I made these little videos. So this was also kind of a little nod to that. So yeah, I thought I could play the piano, but I guess not in camera mode, whatever. But yeah, and I liked putting all these little gyroid these gyroids here as the audience. I like included them a lot more in the last version of Ladonia, but since this one is a little more realistic, I didn't want to include them quite as much, but I couldn't have a Kidcore island without gyroids, so of course I had to incorporate them somehow. So then back here I had another little weird space to fill, and I decided it could be like a little, this was kind of functional for me actually. As I was designing and working on the island, I had a DIY workbench here and, you know, access to my storage, and I could also, you know, use the mirror if I needed whatever, but it also functions as like a backstage for the talent show. So I put these little things here too. Like you can imagine maybe someone's talent is ballet and somebody's is magic. And so, you know, you're back here getting ready before you go on, as one does backstage. I don't know why I felt like I had to explain what you do backstage. But yeah, let's continue on. Okay, so over here, I want to finish up there last. So we're going to keep going this way, but over here, I did something kind of funny. I was inspired by one of my favorite creators here that I found here on YouTube, actually. Their username is, I've never said it out loud, so I don't actually know how to pronounce it, and I did go try to look up if I could figure it out, and I couldn't. So sorry, I'm just going to kind of say what it is. It's JJoe RT. I'll put their information here on the screen. Please go check them out. Love their videos, love their content. So, but they turned one of their villager homes into like bathrooms, and I just really liked the build, and I was inspired by that to kind of do the same thing here. So I turned Teddy's cabin into, it's really like where the showers are, because we're right by the boathouse, but showers didn't really fit on the sign, so I put baths instead. But yeah, this is like where the showers are, the camp showers. So I'll put some photos there on the screen so you can see what it looks like inside as well. Like I said, I just don't really want to spend time going in to visit and film that, but I'll show you what it looks like on the screen. So this is right above where we could see across from the treehouse earlier. I've got Abel's here disguised as this boathouse. This was also inspired by a picture I found while doing my research on summer camps. And I had been trying to figure out what to do with, like I had said earlier, like with Nooks and with Abel's. And it occurred to me I could turn Abel's into the lake house, and it worked out pretty well. So we've got this dock here. You know, you can take a dip, take a swim in the lake. Maybe one of the activities they do. I wish we had like canoes or kayaks, because that makes more sense with this theme and with a summer camp for kids. But all we have are the they are called yachts, but I was gonna say the sailboats. So had to make do with those instead. And then if we head over this way, we've just got another little treehouse here for kids only. Got the sign out front. Please follow the rules. Yeah, like I said, I had a lot more treehouses on the last version of Ladonia, so I wanted to include more of them here as well. So this is just like a little homage to that. And then back here on the corner, I'll tell you the secrets. This just leads to the museum, which I hid there behind the mountain. We're not gonna visit, but it just doesn't really fit with the theme. And so I needed a way to like truly hide it. And I just had this idea way back when to cover it with a mountain and just fully hide it. So you can't really see it unless you know how to get to it over there. So it's behind all of this, but you'd never know if I didn't tell you, or you couldn't see the map. And then down here, we've got this little cliff where we've got the no diving sign. And yeah, The idea here is that campers sneak out here maybe late at night or whatever and jump into the lake. You're not really supposed to dive here, hence the sign. But of course, everyone knows that nobody listens to those rules. So kids still do. We've got some dropped camp tea, socks, shoes, you know, doing a little diving into Lake Ladonia here. And then, yeah, we've only got one more area to go visit. So I'm going to head over there now and that'll be it. Yeah, so back over here, if we go past the showers up here to this ramp, we've got a little lookout area. And this was inspired by Boys Crossing. I don't know if it's Boys Crossing or Boys Crossing, but you probably know them. They make really great content as well here on YouTube and beautiful islands. So check them out if you're not familiar or not following them already. But they did a lookout before on one of their islands, and I found it when looking for inspiration. Actually, Crystal sent it to me, and I really liked it, and I wanted to make something similar. And then I set out to like build it, and I was like, I'm gonna do something inspired by this, like, you know, kind of, you know, be inspired but do my own twist. And then I was trying out a bunch of different things, and I wasn't vibing with anything the same way that I was with what they had made. So I pretty much copied it, like copy paste, you know, just with my own codes and whatever, but you know, slightly different, but it's pretty much the same. So shout out to them. Incredible build, beautiful, stunning. Like I said, please check them out and give them a follow. But yeah, that's it for Ladonia. So yeah, this is the end of the tour. I don't know what to say. It's kind of crazy. I like literally, I can never redo Ladonia at this point, actually, because now that I've made all these new codes, I've used up every single code slot that the game gives you. So I can't upload any more codes on this creator code that I have here on this island. So this is truly it. This is Ladonia, how it will be forever and always. But yeah, I had so much fun making it. I'm really proud of it. I love this new version. I'm really glad that I ended up doing this, and I'm excited that I'm able to share it all with you and, you know, release another dream address. So I hope that you come and visit. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I feel like I was all over the place. I don't know. I still feel weird when I film my YouTube videos. I like give myself a hard time, but I think I'm doing okay. So we can only go up from here, right? So thank you for your support here on the channel. And yeah, I will be announcing a new island soon in a few days. So follow me on other socials if you're not already, to be sure that you don't miss that. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that you have a great day, and I'm gonna shut up now. Okay, bye.